What's wrong with them?
Oh, that's a batch of our especially substunted Epsilon workers. As you can see, Mr. Savage, they were designed specifically for heliofusion work. The heat immersion pigment, or growth-inhibiting hormones. You will note that their bodies were designed to fit perfectly into the coils of the tubes.
Bernard, may we go? Oh, but we haven't seen the Delta Radiotrax workers yet. We haven't seen... I must go. I feel a sickness of spirit. I'm sorry.
Oh, perhaps we'd better go. But you won't put any of this in your report, will you?
We have to leave.
You're behind schedule. Take your elevator down for another batch.
Do you know you did extremely well the other day at electro-obstacle golf? I mean, for never having played the game before?
But it's not a game, Bernard. Everyone just sits at that machine and presses buttons, but no one runs or jumps or throws like in a game.
Oh, it used to be like that once, I think, with a round object that people used to hit this way and that with sticks. Naturally, not that many people could play at the same time. But as soon as they replaced these sticks and round things with machines, then, of course, more people could spend more time consuming more energy.
If no one plays, though, Bernard, why do you call it a game?
Because that's what it's called. Central Slumbratorium 2, priority.
Very good, sir. First level, pink beam.
What is this, Bernard?
This is the Slumbratorium Garden of the Departed Ones, and there's no need to whisper. Beautiful, aren't they?
Are they truly dead?
Oh, yes. Naturally, the departed ones aren't shipped here for formal cosmetic reconstitution until they've passed on. But I can assure you this is exactly the way each one looked in their real life.
What killed them?
Oh, nothing at all. By taking the correct chemicals, we all stay young till perhaps 80, 90. That's when the metabolic strain causes PPO. That's peaceful passing on. Where is that writer from Creative Cremation? It's all right. You pushed the disposal button.
Where did he go?
Down to the chemo recovery furnace. The bodies are brought here for cosmetic reconstitution before cremation and final chemo recovery. That way the chemicals that are salvaged from the body are returned to usefulness.
Let's go.
And the individual goes on being part of the greater society forever.
Good. Do you want to play the plop-plop game?
Yeah!
Well, have you all finished your yum-yum soma candy?
Yeah!
Since you've all been very, very good on our whole death training picnic, I guess it's time for your reward. Each one gets one plop-plop.
Yeah!
But just one. Go on. All right, children, all together.
Death is perfect, death is fun, death is good for everyone.
Good, very good. Let's do it again and show Mr. Savage here how we sing our We're Not Afraid of Dying song.
When there's no one left, sing a song of death. 420 corpses baking in the stew, making pretty chemicals just for me and you. Death is perfect.
No, you don't understand! Death is dark as night! In that country from whose bourne no traveler returns. And none need court death, for death will come to each. So let us sit upon the ground and tell sad stories of the death of kings. Let us talk of graves.
Really, Mr. Savage,
Of
you
worms.
have completely ruined my death training class. Now I'll have to start all over again with them. Come on, children. We'll go back to the Dying Inn Hospital and have a fun picnic. Come along. Come on. If you ask me, I think you'd better start educating your savage, Mr. Marks.
Come on. I'm sorry, Bernard. I seem to have done something wrong.
John, this incident is strictly between you and me.
And the savage then completely disrupted an advanced synthophilosophy course by asking strange questions of the students.
What sort of questions exactly?
Well, here, for instance, he asked them to explain to him why life was a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury signifying nothing, some sort of primitive gibberish, obviously.
Ah, yes. Macbeth. Yes, obviously, gibberish. How about females? How many has he engaged with so far?
None. I know it's incredible, but at least according to this report from Bernard Marks, that does seem to be the case. And despite several illustrated lectures on morality, he still seems to be attached to his...
His mother?
Yes, his mother. Decidedly unnatural.
For us, of course, but not for John Savage. Not yet.
Well, suppose he contaminates others with this sort of base animalistic attitude. Unnatural is unnatural.
Perhaps. But then that is precisely what the experiment is all about. To determine whether or not the savage can adjust to our higher plane of morality. Of course, if that proves to be impossible, the experiment will have to be terminated.
Should I advise Bernard Marks of that?
No, I don't think so. After all, Mr. Marks is part of that experiment now, too.
I really think I've done wonders with this boy. Of course, you have no idea how difficult this sort of responsibility can be. Tours, interviews, lectures, and of course, our Fordship wants me to report personally about the savage.
Well, I suppose I should be quite impressed with you these days, Bernard.
Well, enough about me. Tell me about yourself, Helmholtz. What have you been doing?
Just a small piece of my own I've been working on. Maybe you'd like me to show it to you.
Oh, I would love you to show it to me. The only problem is I don't have the time. I'm sorry. You do understand, don't you?
Yes, I think I do. You've changed, Bernard.
I'm not surprised that you noticed. Everyone has. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, Sigmunda Luce, that's the head of the Human Element Reconditioning Bureau, told me that everyone's been saying that I'm really a new, improved Bernard Marks.
What happened to the young man I used to be able to share inner concerns with and questions on the nature of free will? What happened to the young man who so often wondered what it would be like to live free of conditioning? What happened to that, Bernard Marks?
That was all computerless nonsense. I've outgrown all that. I really must hurry now if I'm going to make my engagement with Sigmunda. Helmholtz, just a word to the wise from a friend. The sort of things that you were talking about before, inner concerns, free will, I really think you should be more careful.
I will.
Tonight? You're going to engage with the savage tonight? How thrilling. Bernard arranged it.
Oh, I really do envy you, Lenina. I mean, everybody's talking about you being interviewed by the Feuilleton News, being asked to lecture at the Young Women's Sporting Association, and being engaged by the president of the External and Internal Secretions Corporation. Oh, it's so wonderful. Except, what? Well, one part of it bothers me a little. The trouble is, I feel like I'm getting all this attention under false pretenses. The first thing everyone wants to know is what's it like to engage the savage. The trouble is, I just can't tell them. Because I don't know. You don't know? You mean you've never engaged with the savage? Why not? I've given him every opportunity. There must just be something about me that he doesn't like. Although I can't imagine